Welcome to episode 102 of Walford Weekly.
You had to think about that one, didn't you?
I have no idea where we are. And we're celebrating our win at the NTAs.
Our win? A collective win?
Of EastEnders. Oh,
no, we really can't. We were in the loser's pit for pretty much most of it, weren't we, really? Not even...
I'm not going to stand up for them.
No. Not even Danny Dyer could pull out an award. Danny Dyer, who's just, always wins.
Yeah, but the clip they used was poor.
But the clip they used for the Christmas... Sorry, we're talking about the NTAs. If you don't live in the UK, the NTAs are the National Television Awards, and they're publicly voted.
Yeah, that's the trouble.
EastEnders, and there'll be a game about it later, but the EastEnders are very much nominated for a few categories, and they didn't win one of them this year.
No.
And the clip that they used for Best Serial Drama, also known as a soap, is the one at Christmas, when
Sharon versus Phil.
Yeah.
What was the best clip there? That was a good clip.
It definitely was, and it made me think, Christmas wasn't too bad, was it? It was a good Christmas. New Year's could have done with a bit touching up. Christmas was fine. But not even that could win.
Even Max Bowden couldn't win Best Newcomer.
Yeah, so this is referencing what Ben just said, because when the award was given, was it the category he was in, or was it the Best Serial
Drama? No, that was when Emmerdale won.
So it was the Best Serial Drama was Emmerdale. So sorry to any fans of Emmerdale, but anyway.
It's the worst at the moment of all of them, and it won.
Wait, is it worse than Hollyoaks?
Yes.
Okay. And Max Bowden refused to stand up while everyone else stood up to applaud
Allegedly.
them. Well, he was with lip. What do they call them? Like a lip reader. Suggested that he said,
"I'm not effing standing up."
Yeah, I'm not effing standing up.
And people were like, he would never say that. His nan's next to him. You don't know what he says to his nan?
We don't know what his nan's like. His nan might be a right potty mouth,
like Pat Butcher.
Yeah.
Or Peggy.
Yeah, exactly. 20 a day, if not 40. And
So he could have said that to his nan. There's no evidence, but who knows what he said?
We may never know. The only person who does know
is his nan.
It's his nan, and obviously Max himself.
Yeah, and probably Tony Clay. He was quite close.
Tony Clay was behind him in the seats
for the first time.
This week. And he stood up.
Good. Stood to attention.
He certainly did, for Ben. But so it was a very odd occasion. But then this always happens at a award ceremony. They find clips and you narrow it down to a degree and you kind of scrutinise it to a point. A bit like what we do with our podcast. But I just think that maybe they found something that perhaps wasn't there.
Next year's our year, Kate. Kate Oates still winning awards for Coronation Street, you see.
They thanked Kate Oates
again,
as well, didn't they?
Even though she left 2 years ago. Get over it, Corrie.
Please come back, Kate Oates, they say, crawling to the stage.
Right, so before we start, let's introduce ourselves.
I think it's best. I'm Alex.
From Walford Weekly.
From the aforementioned Walford Weekly.
From YouTube.
And YouTube sensation. Don't forget to check out our new YouTube video. Top 10 facts that you may not know about Tracy.
The barmaid.
Not just the barmaid, though. That's one of the facts.
No, that's her name. Tracy the barmaid.
Well,
that's her surname.
What? The barmaid?
Yep. Tracy
T. Barmaid. Anyway, I'm Alex, by the way.
You are, and I'm Ben, who is the host, and is also talking about episodes that aired between the 27th and the 31st of January.
Lovely.
Seamless.
It really was.
Right, so we're going to talk about my least favourite family, or they were at one point my least favourite family, but a new character arrived this week.
Yeah.
A new mother.
Liven things up a bit, pop her in a cocktail shaker and shake it up, and she was there.
Mother Earth, new matriarch of the square, Suki. Every time I say Suki, I remember True Blood.
Yeah, every time. I can only hear Suki when I hear her name.
But I was more than pleasantly surprised at Suki this week. Did you enjoy her? What did you think of her?
I don't think I enjoyed her as much as you, but then that's probably because I don't like what the character is becoming. But that's not that's not the actress's fault. It's just that, and it's not that I don't like the character. It's that she's obviously meant to be unlikable.
Oh yeah, when I say I like the character, I'm not like waving a flag for faking cancer.
Yeah.
But like as a character and as an actress, she was like her first scene.
Oh, great acting!
It was like, I'm interested already.
And the way she came out of the cab as well, she almost had like a breezy kind of exit.
She has an air to her, doesn't she? Which is like an iconic air.
And her whole family kind of bow down to her. And she already has a hierarchy with her children as well. You can see it.
It's very
instantly.
interesting. Yeah. In the first scene when she got out of the cab and Jags was the one doing all the heavy lifting
was getting bullied by Vinny, and
yeah.
Vinny wasn't getting in trouble for it. Jags was the one who was getting blamed.
And the
for
mum told Jags off and not Vinny. So yeah, Vinny's obviously he's like very emotional. Like throughout this whole week, when he's been listening to his mum talk about cancer, he's been getting teary, and he isn't really like talking about it. He's not great at eye contact, so he's obviously like her favourite, her youngest.
I think he's the youngest, isn't he?
Mothered.
So she's the one who she protects the most. And Kirat is obviously, she sees him as the oldest, and so he's the one who has to take control, and she expects him to have the reins and make sure that
He's like
everything
the
is in
father
line.
figure, the dad,
Yeah.
like, replacing the dad.
And Ash is the one that's kind of gotten away from her. And I think whether she loves Ash or not, we don't know. But I think there's a small part that she kind of wants to have this control, because Ash is the only one she cannot control.
I guess maybe Ash is the closest like her.
Do you reckon? I don't think Ash would never manipulate.
Not
in that
manipulate,
way.
but like other characteristic wise, like that's why she can't control her, because Ash is too strong, just like she's strong. You know what I mean?
But not controlling.
Not manipulative
No,
like her yet.
no.
She's not had kids yet.
No. That's right. She might have a kid though, won't she? With Iqra.
Yeah.
One day they might adopt.
But obviously we've known that she's got terminal cancer. Well, that's what she told Vinny and the other brothers.
Family, yeah.
But she's like slightly going back on it now. It's might not be terminal, not sure.
Which she said 4 months, and then she quickly stepped back because Ash questioned that, and then she kind of stepped back and said, "Oh no. They said it might be 4 to 24 months. You know, it could be longer. It depends on how good the treatment is." And Ash, from there, kind of suspected that maybe she's not telling the complete truth.
I mean, does she know she's a doctor?
Well, yeah,
it's a bit of a dangerous lie, isn't it, to say to your daughter who's a doctor? So I don't know how she's planning to sort of keep this.
I'm surprised that Ash couldn't. I don't know how hospitals work. But I'm surprised Ash couldn't just kind of walk into. Yeah, not look her up because obviously they're confidential files, but maybe walk into the cancer unit, because presumably she's getting the treatment at the same place where Jean is, Walford General. So would you not think she could walk into the cancer unit, like knowing that her mum was getting treatment on that day? Because she turned up to take her mum for the treatment at the hospital, but Suki had already gone. Yeah. And so Suki then came home and invited, and Ash was there then, and so that's when she was a bit like, well, why did you go before me? You knew that I was coming to take you. And it was a bit confusing for Ash from that point. And so I think Suki is trying to siphon information now from Jean, because as soon as she heard when she came out that cab and did that iconic walk to the door to their new flat, and she said, "Oh, Jean's got cancer too. She's in a particular, maybe you could talk to one another." You could see a light bulb in her head. And she was, here's someone I can
do some research here.
Yeah, that's it. I can do a bit of Googling on Jean.
I mean, it's such a great scene between those two in the cafe as well, with Jean like going through her symptoms, saying what it was like to have cancer, and she was obviously reacting real to what it's like to have cancer. And then you have Suki there, like quite cold but acting really
kind,
warming and welcoming, and holding her hand and saying, "You can talk to me anytime. I'm always here for you." It was an interesting dynamic there, like how cold and horrible she must be. Well, to have to lie to Jean's face like that and pretend that they're going through the same thing,
just to kind of fool her family further. It just takes a disturbed mind to do something like that.
And it's also quite a lot to put onto a new character. Like the first storyline you have to the audience is you're faking cancer. It's like, oh, that's really tricky, like long term wise. Yeah,
what do you do after that? How do you stay in the soap? It's the Stewart effect, isn't it? How has Stewart stayed in the soap after trying to kill off the Carter family? You know, how are they going to keep her in once or if the discovery is made? Because this is all about keeping her family together. Because the Panesar brothers want to set up a call centre.
Yeah, I know,
don't know where that popped from.
And they bought the old betting shop.
But they're looking at units, weren't they? They were looking at units all over Walford, and she decided that it's really weird how she wants to keep this close rein on them, because I don't think
because she suggested that, didn't she?
The betting shop, so the betting shop itself and the flats above it. And I mean, it's one thing to want to live with your family and to be together all the time, but to have them so close by as well. Like, she insisted that they stayed close by to her. It's And again, she used her cancer as an excuse. She said, what if I should fall ill? I need you to get here in quickly.
And she does it cleverly. She's like, she doesn't want them, but if you are here, then that's nice. But you don't have to be here. But if you are, please be here. But you don't have to.
Yeah, it's like, your decision, but I would prefer it that way. But it's totally up to you. It's up to you completely. Yeah, it's really sneaky. I mean,
a little bit of Lou Bill there, because Lou Bill liked to do that, didn't she? Every time something didn't go her way, she'd go, "Oh, angina attack." Or, I feel ill, I'm going to go to bed for 3 days.
I think you're being a bit cruel to Lou there. I don't think Lou was ever that cruel.
Yeah, no, that was the 80s, different.
Yeah, different era, different time.
80s version would be that. But good addition. Still not enjoying Jags's fat jokes literally every scene.
Emphasise them every time, don't they? It's all the time. It's fat joke on Jags,
Yeah,
and it's
less
just,
is more sometimes.
Well, just stop. I mean, you can find other ways to insult him, other than calling him
He's
overweight.
not even that big. Like when he was getting off the table,
Not really.
walking away, I was like, actually, a bit of muscle there.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah,
Bit of cushion
still
for the pushes.
not the greatest actor. But the family of work, it's amazing how just having that one character extra has like changed the whole family completely.
Yeah.
They actually feel like a
feel
unit,
like
and they feel like they've actually got like a hub.
You're right.
And a story, and there's interesting dynamics going between all of them.
It made them enjoyable to see this story unfold now. Yeah. Well, no, it did for me, because like the Panesar Brothers were always a bit like, there's a little bit of them here and a little bit of them there, and it's like, where's the plan here? What's the end goal? And now the mum's been introduced. They've bonded like an atom, stuck together, and they've now got a purpose, and it's an interesting one. I would like them to splinter off a little bit away from the story, because I do think that this Suki story is very much really Suki and Ash, and perhaps Karat.
Yeah, the other two are still a bit like...
The other two are still kind of floating, and I think they could splinter off and have a story together.
I mean, Vinny's got his thing of Keegan.
Yes, that's coming, isn't it?
Jags has eating... and Chantel, kind of.
Oh, yeah, there is this Chantel story, isn't there? That they seem to be hinting at. Me. No, it would do if performed well enough.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, but they stopped making. See, you can't give any kind of dignity to a storyline with Jags until you let him have some kind of
dignity in himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Until he loves himself, we can't love him.
Yeah, well, not just love himself. Make us love him rather than just make him a joke. Make him a believable character. And as soon as they start doing that, then yes, I'm on board. Let's do the Grey and Chantel storyline, where Grey is, for some fathomable reason, very jealous and upset, perhaps when when Jags gets together with Chantel. But that time will hopefully come.
It will. I mean, all they needed was a great matriarch. It's what the show's based on, what it's built on.
I want a quick question, and I'm going to hold you to this in a few weeks' time when we perhaps will get the answer to this. But do you think...
I'm not going to be here.
Okay. I'll Skype you, or I'll get Halfway's Hat to be you for the day. However, do you think that Suki is conniving, and this is why she is doing this, or do you think it might be that old Munchausen's syndrome, and that she doesn't even realise what she's doing, and she's
Hollyoaks reference of the week.
It is, why not? But do you think it's one or the other? Do you think she basically?
So it's a mental illness that
she feels compelled that she needs to
do this
make
to
this
keep
up.
Her family.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think so, because she's knowingly doing it, because she's being...
Yeah, but Munchausen's you're knowingly doing it. It's just that you can't stop doing it, and so you keep going, you further and further escalate, and it gets more and more out of their control. But do you think she's more controlled by this? This is more of her in control and conniving and planning it step by step.
It's difficult, isn't it? You don't know if she's done it like she did a little lie and it's suddenly like tumbled into this. You don't know why she started this.
But it's her brothers who kind of... But then we know now that she can manipulate the brothers very easily. But it's the brothers who kind of have taken it and blown it out of proportion somewhat. Not her. It wasn't her that carried
she
it
did
forward
say it
to
was
Ash.
terminal. But obviously she was doing it... Maybe that's the only way she thought she could get Ash back on board, knowing she's a doctor and she's a caring person, maybe. Don't know. But I'm glad that it's not terminal, because it means she's not going, we assume.
Well, I don't think it's cancer. I don't think there's anything
I don't
at
think
all.
Got anything. No.
Yeah, there's nothing. You can't have a terminal of nothing.
But interesting introduction. I enjoyed her.
I'm excited of what's to come with the Panesar Brothers, and I've not said that yet.
Me either. I've not even thought that before.
Nope.
New thought.
Big question. Where's Habiba?
Oh yeah. Forgot. Actually, just forgot she existed. She's in it next week, I think, or the week after.
Oh, good.
Because people move houses again.
Oh god, they're doing a shuffle again, are they?
They are, and Habiba's involved.
Oh, it's like musical houses.
Right, so we're going to go on now to the Carters. Because I've got to say, Danny Dyer had one of his best scenes in a long time, I felt. I was watching a scene between him and Linda.
Right.
I didn't see Danny Dyer, I saw Mick.
Did you?
For the first time.
What was Mick doing?
So when they're having their big slagging match to each other, and Linda's being horrible, and he was shouting back at her, but both of them played that very well.
It really does feel like this is the true end of Mick and Linda, don't you think?
Oh god, yeah. After that scene where she was drunk and the whole social worker thing had happened, and she stormed in drunk, and he'd been giving her rations, and they had that massive. Yeah, that was a really bad play by Mick. Like,
awful.
Suggesting to her that he'll just ration out cups for her,
enabling her. Like, we were thinking of what's the word, and we finally realised she's enabled. She's being enabled by Mick.
Yes.
Yeah, it was terrible, wasn't it? And
it was Kathy and Rainey's bad.
Well, when Kathy had the drugs on the table, was like, there you go, Rainey, it's up to you to solve it.
It was that bad. It was stupid.
But just the fact leaving the whole bottle there as well. And then when he did it the first time, she was like, oh, I'm sorry, you shouldn't have left the whole bottle in front of me. And he was like, all right then. Went to take it. She was like, oh no, it's fine. You can trust me now. Yeah. And so he left it again for her to drink.
In the cupboard where she knew it was. So stupid. But no, that scene of them arguing, it felt like there's no going back to the Carters.
This is it. It really does.
She's checked out. He's checked out. Yeah. He's had enough of her. She's drinking herself into oblivion. Like, even when she's sober, she's not particularly loving either.
She apologizes and she makes out that everything she does, she doesn't do it out of malice. It's the drink talking. It's like the Jekyll and Hyde effect. But I think Mick's very upset by the whole situation, and I think he's desperately trying to keep them together.
And he's running out of patience. Like, he's becoming less and less
loving and caring towards
handling
Linda.
The situation. And obviously he told the social worker she's an alcoholic,
thinking it was the right, to be fair to Mick, he thought that was the right thing to do, because he thought that
he's got no one else to reach out to, has he?
No, because Shirley, he can talk to Shirley, but Shirley just kind of shouts the odds.
She's not no help.
Plus Shirley just seems to be directing herself somewhere else now with the Mitchell business.
Which she's busy, businesswoman.
Yeah, I guess. Tina's giving as much help as she can, but again,
she's Tina.
Exactly. Tina's
there's not much
really
to her, is there?
Tina's not really someone who's had the life experience to really dish out any advice. Tina.
She dated Sonia.
She had Tosh. That was quite a violent affair, wasn't it?
She was making jokes about that last week. So
I like that, though.
She's done her insert of her background information.
This is what I know. I was in a violent relationship with Tosh. The end.
But it does all feel very final.
It really does. I genuinely cannot. And even if they did put them back together somehow, like Humpty Dumpty, I think
fake, feel broken.
It wouldn't feel right, and it just wouldn't feel like it was the right thing to do. So, danger. Who's going? Who's staying? What's going to happen with them both? Theories. Please send in your theories. We'd be very interested. But what's yours?
My theory. I don't know. Is this a spoiler? People don't like spoilers, do they?
I don't know. Do you know something then?
No, but about the boat.
Oh, the boat story.
A spoiler? It's in the news everywhere.
I mean, everyone knows that there's going to be a boat party.
Yeah, and it's going to be an end.
And there's going to be an end to something. All right.
Maybe it is Linda.
Okay.
It's what I feel. Because it feels so final, and it feels like an easy way for them to get rid of an alcoholic situation. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise she'll always be like this, or she'll always be an alcoholic. And the way EastEnders is at the moment, it's easy just to bump her off, and then they'd have to deal with that anymore. But I don't want Linda to die, so I think that'd be a waste.
Do you think it's wow, really? Because I don't want to sound mean, but I don't think there's anything. At least with Linda and Mick, there's nothing more they can do.
No, they've done quite a lot, haven't they?
I suppose it's going to be difficult for them to do a story if they both lived on the square together, because then there'll be the will they, won't they get back together again? And that's the Billy and Honey thing, and that's again something I don't want to see.
There's not really much for them outside of pubs, because their whole background to them is they've gone pub to pub to pub to pub. That's their whole life, their only career.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all a bit.
Well, Linda even said that, didn't she? She said, when Mick tried to take the bottle away from her, she said, "Well, look where we live. We live in a pub. If I want to get a drink, it's quite easy. I'll just go down the stairs and I'll get a bottle." So yeah, I think if there was a future for Mick and Linda, I think it's out of the pub, and that doesn't necessarily mean they have to stop owning the pub. They can still own the Vic, but I think it's a manager needs to come in.
Yeah, the way they're making her so horrible as well. Like she's burning all her bridges. It just feels very final.
What she says to Mick this week, as you said, that scene, the one where you saw Mick and not Danny.
Yeah.
It was the nasty comments you've never seen. I don't think I've ever seen them do that to each other. I mean, despite their faults, where they've fallen out with one another, they've never slung mud in such a way that they did in that scene.
And Linda always brings up how she thinks his panic attacks or anxiety is not serious as well. It's all really weird, but she brings it up quite a lot.
But she almost says your problem is just ridiculous.
Nothing.
Yeah, you need to it's almost the equivalent of man up, Mick. To sort yourself out. Well, my problem is very important, but I don't want to deal with it.
But I don't have a problem.
Yeah, exactly, but I don't want to deal with it. It's really strange, isn't it? But it's just the fact that Mick was like, if I'd been any less of a man, I would have thrown you out months ago. I would have put up with this. And I don't know. It's almost like saying like, I've tolerated you to Linda, isn't it? I was like, I now tolerate you. And that's not what a relationship is built on, surely.
No, and even like Ollie, like she's shouting in front of her, like she would have never done that before.
Oh well, go off, take him out of school early for a dentist appointment. Go off to buy ice cream and get drunk.
It's really odd.
Fancy drinking. Like she made such a big deal last week about Ollie going away with Chantal, and she's like, I won't drink in front of Ollie. I love Ollie enough to not have to drink in front of him, and then to do that, like to pull him out of school and then drink in front of him so blatantly, so blasé.
On another note, though, with her, have you noticed she only ever drinks in her blue coat?
I hadn't. No. Does she have a pink coat? Doesn't she?
But she wears a blue coat, and that's when she gets drunk.
Oh.
And I think it's a nod to Angie. She used to put on her blue dressing gown to go drinking, didn't she?
Right.
So is there like a little hint there?
Angie Den nod? Maybe.
I think so.
That's a nice little nostalgic throwback. Yeah. We need to speak to our old buddy, the archivist. No, not Anita Dobson. Oh, goodness, no.
Oh, the archivist. Yeah, maybe it's a little nod. It's the same shade of blue. But I feel the end is near for Linda. I feel like they're taking her character to this big explosive end.
It's interesting you say the end is near for Linda and not the end is near for the Carters, isn't it?
Yeah, not Mick.
No.
I
mean, they'd be fools to get rid of Danny. Although he's taking a lot of time off now.
He's got lots of shows as well.
But they brought Danny in to pull the ratings in. Do you reckon it'd be a bit of a risk for him to go? Oh dear.
I wouldn't miss Mick if he left, to be honest. Sorry. It's been in it since 2014. They've had a long run.
But they have been the main story, because whoever is in the Vic is always the main story. So I think it's a break is a good rest. I think perhaps maybe.
But if you're dead, it's a permanent break.
But will they be brave, or in some people's eyes stupid enough to do that?
Don't know. Maybe Tina will die. She's like an easy cut off, isn't she?
I wouldn't like that though. I would be upset if they killed Tina.
It'd be like Heather. That's just unfair.
Yeah.
Not needed.
I mean, every time we think about what's happening on that boat, and we know there's a demise or an end. I go through the cast in my head every now and then, and I think, no, I can't think of anyone.
Don't want anyone to drown on a boat. No. If that is what happens.
There's a few that maybe I would be less disappointed about.
Max.
Oh goodness, yeah, Max.
If Max Branning dies, that'd be really good.
Yeah, that would be.
Because it'll be the anniversary of Bradley's death too. So.
Yeah, of course, 10 years. That'd be a nice, wrapped up nicely.
Yeah, kill Max. He can die in a boat, can't he? Because it's his fault that Roxy died because he gave her drugs and she drowned. So it's all
he's killed
mixing
Stephen,
into one.
Which everyone seems to think he didn't. And he
that's the best way.
Forced Abby off the roof.
Yeah. Right, so we're going to go on to our first game and then we'll continue this little chat. So we are here with the famous fruit bowl.
Yep, you can hear it.
That's it, that's
glass. That's real glass.
That's Pauline's fruit bowl. So anyone who doesn't know what this game is, I have Pauline's fruit bowl here and it's got a list of categories inside of it, along with fruit and veg.
It's just all with it. Why is veg in a fruit bowl?
And just because Martin likes it in there.
Oh, okay. It's a safe place to put it.
Yeah, and Sonia. And you get to pick out a category, and you then have 30 seconds to name as many of whatever that category is.
Yes, but that's just part one.
It is. And then the second part, depending on how many correct guesses you've got in part one, is your guesses or lives you have for the question in part two.
Yeah.
So if you tell me 75 cottons, you'd have 75 guesses.
That would be a podcast in itself.
Right, so are you ready to pick one out of the bowl?
I am, mixing it up.
Don't drop any, it's very violent.
Well, I like to make it fair. There we go. Okay, got one. Are you ready?
Yes.
I think I half... Oh, okay. This is new. Normally it's family.
Yes, there's lots of different things in the bowl.
Owners of the car lot.
Ooh,
okay.
That's tricky.
That is tricky. I'm racking through my brain.
Okay, right. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Frank Butcher. Patrick.
Yes.
Mitchell, Phil Mitchell, Grant Mitchell, or one of the Mitchells. I can list all the Mitchells until you say yes. Is it a Mitchell? I'm taking it. Point. Mitchell. Phil Mitchell, yeah. Max Branning. Did you? Yeah, Max Branning.
Well, illegally, but yes.
Yeah.
5 seconds.
There's one more, and I can. Oh, Mary's dad.
Yep. What's his name?
Mary's dad.
Time up. You missed Jay as well. Jay owned it.
Of course he did.
Or still does. Who knows?
Well, yes.
Or does Ben own it now?
No, Jay still owns it, but Ben, by association, owns it, yeah. Of course, Jay. Oh.
How many did you get?
I got 4.
4? Oh dear.
As soon as I said the category, you went, oh. So I knew it would be a difficult part 2. Oh, well, I'll have a go.
It is. Oh, I don't know. We'll see how much faith you have. So the question is, because obviously we know the NTAs were this week. EastEnders went home empty-handed.
Yeah, they did. Really bad year for them.
So I want to know, since the NTA started, how many awards has EastEnders won? It started in 1995 to 2020.
Yeah, it was their 25th year this year.
So how many awards have EastEnders won?
NTA, the National Television
There's
Awards.
a part 2 to this question too. So.
What? So
a bonus question.
I only have 4 lives.
Oh, it's fine. Let's keep going.
Okay, and by EastEnders awards, do you mean so if it won for actor or actress, but they were associated with the show of EastEnders, that would count as
anything
one?
EastEnders.
Okay. Blimmin' heck.
It's very difficult for 4 guesses, I'm afraid.
Right, so there's been 25 years. Let's go on the premise that they've won 2 a year, but obviously there's been off years and here, then the other. So I'm going to say 50.
Lower.
Lower?
Yes.
Oh, I expected you to say higher. Okay, 50. 40. 40.
Lower.
Oh.
This is the NTAs, not the soap awards, remember? So the NTAs isn't all soaps.
But there's 3 categories they can win. Best
newcomer,
serial drama.
There's newcomer, best.
Oh, and newcomer. So there's 4 then.
Serial drama.
Best male, best female, serial drama, and newcomer. So there's 4 potentially. That's why I was quite surprised. But anyway, okay, 25.
Higher.
Oh, I've only got 1 guess left. So it's between 25 and 40. I'm going to say 37.
Lower. You've run out of options now. But the correct answer was 36.
Oh!
So close. Right, do you want to do round 2 for the bonus one?
Go on then. Do I get 4 guesses on this one as well?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Right, bonus question. How many times did it win the award Serial Drama of the Year out of those 36?
It's so funny that it's like sees itself as a bit more of a classier award ceremony, so it's not a soap. Best serial drama. 25, so it's out of 25.
36. There's 36 awards total that it won. How many times did it win Serial Drama of the Year? Yeah,
but you can only win serial dramas one category. There's been 25 years of it, so you can only be 25.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying to bamboozle
get it right then, come on.
I am getting it right. I've got more right than you, and you've got the answer in front of you. I'm going to say, because they've had a few bad years, I'm going to say 10.
Higher.
Oh. 15.
Lower.
I could get this. Split the middle. 13.
Lower.
Okay, so it's either 11 or 12.
This is the last guess as well.
I'm going to say, for Sharon, legs 11.
Higher. Oh, that's incorrect. They won 12 times.
1 off on both.
1 too high and 1 too low as well.
Story of my life.
Well, there you go. You don't get any fruit from the bowl or veg.
I take what I want.
Nope.
Oh no, I'm going to get anemic with my lack of vitamin C.
Well, there you go. You failed. But at least we know it did used to win awards at the NTAs at one point.
Once upon a time. And it still will.
Yes, of course. So there you go. That was another episode of Pauline's Fruit Bowl. Right, so we've got a new feud starting this week. Kathy versus Sharon.
Yep, Ryan Murphy could write a TV drama about this.
Feud series 2.
Yeah.
You got Shirley versus Kathy slightly. Well, Sharon versus Shirley. Bobby versus Denny.
Yep.
Denny versus Sharon.
Denny versus Kathy. Denny versus Ian.
Oh yeah. Dennis Rickman standing up to his name for his granddad.
Man, he's not really.
Oh no, he's only 13, bless him. No, Dennis. Dennis is only 13.
Oh no, you said standing up for his granddad.
Oh yeah, Dirty Den. He's acting like him, isn't he?
Okay, I thought you meant Dennis. Dennis Rickman
Oh no, not
Jr.
Dennis Rickman, and that's his dad.
There's so many Dens.
There's Denny, which is little Denny.
Dennis,
which is Dennis Rickman.
Yep, got
Sharon's
him.
ex / brother.
What,
and then there's
ex? Her she's widowed.
Oh yeah.
They didn't break up.
And then her dad, Den. So Dennis, Denny.
Den died twice.
He did.
Dennis died once. So Denny will never die.
No, he's here forever. But there's lots of back and forth this week between everyone, and it's all like centering around Kathy, of course.
No, don't give
Queen
Kathy.
Kathy.
Don't give Kathy the pedestal here. It's not just Kathy.
Everyone wants her back home.
Yes, he did want her back home.
And so did Bobby.
I like it when
Sharon wasn't bothered.
Well, Sharon wasn't bothered until then. Kathy and Sharon made a bit of an amends after Kathy said that she smelled eau de tram. She walked in and was like, "What's that smell?" Eau de tram.
Sharon was in the Mitchell safe behind the picture wall, getting like information about the Archers. And yeah, Kathy knew. She's not stupid, old cat.
Oh, Kathy's got...
My bag was open.
Eyes everywhere.
But all they need is a little slag to each other, and then they're friends again.
They're friends now.
Yeah,
they're making up.
much.
Kathy actually defended Sharon, I guess, because she went to speak to Denny, but then Shirley got in the way. Then Shirley and Kathy gave each other evils in the pub.
Yeah, but you didn't hear what they said to each other.
No. Yeah, and so then Kathy brought Denny back to the house. This was the third time this week.
Yeah, it kept going round and round and round, all about Denny.
But Denny kept coming in
out
to visit Sharon, insulted Sharon one way or another,
and then left.
So he kind of went there thinking he was going to make amends, didn't make an amends, and then went running back to Shirley like a spoiled little brat.
Because Shirley's treating him like a Mitchell, isn't she?
She's kind of building him up, isn't she, and making him think that he's special,
better than what he is.
Yeah, and he deserves to be treated like this kind of better
royalty.
Yeah, better person, better man.
Because she said, "Oh, you're the boss of the Archers." Like when Dottie came to ask for a job, we know what she's doing. We thought maybe she's doing mechanics in university, and we found out this week she's doing whatever. Something to do with cars in university.
It might have been
economics. No,
it would be economics.
I don't remember what she said.
A car.
She said something, but we finally found out what she's doing at uni. But it's like working with cars.
I mean, but if she's working in a mechanics sense, surely she'd be doing it through an apprenticeship. I don't know how things work in education anymore, but surely an apprenticeship would be linked to it. So she would be working in a garage already one day a week or something.
No, it's not actually that. I can't remember what she said her course was, but we found out what the course was.
Was it just general studies?
No, it was something. I just can't remember right now.
Like the lamest of all. It's the course that colleges make you take just so they can get an extra grade, so they can get more funding the following year. No. Oh yes, all of our students take general studies.
But she wanted the job, and Dennis is the boss, so she has to respect him.
Macho respect.
And every time like a girl's near him, he tries to like flirt with them.
I know,
he tried to
really
do it
gross.
with Tiff as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like last year.
Well, it reminded me of I've watched a lot of Kath and Kim recently, and it reminded me when like every time Dottie walked past and he kept staring at her lower half. It was almost like he was going, "Oh, I like what I see," and it was horrible. It was really cringy. He's a strong Mitchell heterosexual,
and
isn't
Rickman. He's got all of it going in.
Yeah, exactly.
All of it going on. But no, there was a big fight at the end of the week because Bobby saw Ghost Lucy again.
He did.
Didn't think that was necessary. Like, I think everyone got the reference. Like, they didn't need to show that.
Well, to be fair...
Are the audience stupid or what?
No. I think, to be fair, there might have been some new audience members. They might not have realised. And, it was an easy give just to say, like, or clue to say, like, someone had died there before in the hands of Bobby. It was a
oh, come on.
It was a second-hand way of doing it. A shorthand way of doing it, I should say.
Wasn't needed. But, he didn't do anything because Dennis was calling everyone slag this and slag that and bitch
slapper of a mum.
I know, why is he calling Kathy a slapper?
I know.
Hardly a slapper.
I just think Dennis is alcohol.
This is his go-to word, isn't it?
It is his go-to word, but he's also getting out of control, isn't he? He's suddenly seeing
power
himself.
Hungry.
Yeah,
because of Shirley.
What Shirley has fed him, he's believing, and now he's getting above his station. His head's getting bigger, and he thinks, I can say whatever I want to all these people because they'll bow down and respect me. They have to get my respect. I don't have to give any out to them. And it's like, well, this is a dangerous game you're playing here, Dennis, because really, let's be honest with you, Phil ran away and didn't tell you.
Yeah, and left you.
And left you in
and he
Walford.
called and he said, "Oh, Phil's my dad, Ben's my brother as well."
Yeah,
and he really is seeing himself as. He is a Mitchell.
He's in like, his mind's like looking at a much more grander vision than what it actually should be.
But he might be dead. He hit his head, landed in the exact same position as Lucy.
Yes, it was exactly the same, wasn't it? It's like they put the white outline around him. Something I remembered actually from doing some like video research and all that for our YouTube channel. Check it out, Walford Weekly on YouTube. New videos every Thursday, Tuesday, and Sunday. Is that Dennis was the one who said to Bobby when they were younger that everyone knew that he killed Lucy all those years back. They were riding their bikes.
Who said what to who?
Dennis said it to Bobby. Yeah, when Bobby still didn't know that or didn't believe he'd done it. He was still being told by
Jane.
Yeah, that he hadn't done it. And so it was Denny. Denny was the one who
So they got
said
history.
it. So this is it. So it's almost like a comeuppance for Dennis that now he, all these years on, after telling Bobby that he'd done the crime, now he's actually fallen by the same hands as Bobby. So I thought that was interesting. Again, whether that was a reference to that, I don't know. But I like to think it was. They must have like
some sort of history together. So yeah, that's good. But I mean, he's obviously not dead.
No, of course not.
Brain damaged.
Unless Denny has died and he's the one who gets pushed over in the body bag over the boat in the
maybe.
Thames. That'd be interesting.
But maybe this will lead to him and Sharon rekindling.
No, I think it'll make him...
taking care of him, dabbing him on his forehead and bringing him food and computer games.
In his private hospital
trainees.
room
Yeah.
that the cast seemed to get.
Yeah, he got what he deserved because he called Kathy a slapper, so...
No one calls Kathy a slapper.
No.
The only one who could get away with that was Pete. Slapper.
Yeah, but he'd say it in a nice, affectionate way. A treacle slapper.
Treacle slapper. Can you imagine trying to slap treacle?
Right. What are we doing next? Oh, we're doing our game. Another game. And then we're back to finish off the rest then. You've been nicked and you're here at Jack's Branning's witness protection.
I swear I pushed no one over any balcony. It never happened.
Oh, really?
No.
Right, so this is Jack Branning's witness protection, where I, Ben, have witnessed something happening on the square and I've witnessed a crime. Jack Branning has hauled me in for questioning by you.
Yeah, you've written all down in your little book, haven't you?
It's gone missing. And I've got a witness statement and you have to tell me in 60 seconds using yes or no questions and find out who it was I saw committing the said crime.
Yes. Just a warning to any listeners out there, I'm pretty bad at this game, so enjoy.
It's like the board game Guess Who.
It is, and you get
no visuals.
But you get a clue at the beginning, which is meant to be a hint. But
kind of, not really.
It's so wildly speculative, it's difficult to know.
Yes, so witness statement is, this week, when I was having my muffin from the Prince Albert, that's not a euphemism,
no.
A dark-haired man fell off the balcony.
It wasn't me!
While all of this commotion was going on, I saw someone take the opportunity to help themselves to a 2-for-1 cocktail voucher from behind the bar, whilst no one was looking. Of course I was, though. Now, I'm not one to tell tales, but if you can guess who it was that I saw, I'll have no other option but to tell you.
Okay. I think you've put a subtle hint in there, so I'm going to...
No, I haven't. Right, so you've got 60 seconds to question me. Yes and no answers only for me, okay?
Got it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. So I think muffin was a clue. So does...
I'm eating the muffin.
Yeah, but does the person who stole the voucher have a hair bun?
A hair bun?
Yeah, they have their hair tied up like a bun.
No.
Well, that's me screwed then. Okay. Is it male?
No.
Okay. Does she have blonde hair?
No.
Is it short hair?
No.
Does she wear trainers occasionally?
Possibly. Yes.
Yes, but does she wear trainers during a heist?
No.
Okay.
She's got blonde hair too, if you're thinking of Sharon.
Oh, does she? Oh, of course she does. What am I talking about? I hate this game. Does she work at the Minute Mart?
No.
Does she have a daughter?
No.
I'm so bad at this game. No. I hate this game.
Time's up.
Oh.
I suppose technically she could have had a daughter, but she doesn't. Do you want to know who it is who stole the 2-for-1 cocktail voucher?
She could have had a daughter, but she doesn't. It's not Denise.
No. Denise has 2 daughters.
Denise doesn't have... Oh, yeah, she does. Libby.
And Chelsea.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for God's sake.
It was Bernadette Taylor.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I see what you mean.
She had a miscarriage or whatever. I don't know what she had.
Why was she stealing vouchers? She's too young.
That's why she's stealing. I don't know. She wants to go to Prince Albert because she likes to be a lesbian there.
And steal 2-for-1 cocktail vouchers.
Yeah, because she wants to take tiff. They must be 18 by now, mustn't they? I don't know. Or she's saving them for her 18th.
I hate that game because I can't visualise. I always say to you, if I ever witnessed something like a proper crime and the police stopped me,
that was a crime.
Like I very same crime, and they asked me for, and they did an identity kit, of someone's face. I swear I would just be awful. It would just. Well,
the fact you don't even know Sharon has blonde hair.
Oh, I know.
Means that this podcast is cancelled.
Oh, it's deservedly so.
Well, there you go. That was Jack Branning's witness protection, and Bernadette got away with it. So.
Nah, she deserves it.
She's in the clear. She can have her cocktail. So this week, the Albert got the most action it's ever had.
Well, most action other than the action in the toilets.
Well, the drug pushing, you mean?
No, Linda falling over and banging her head. How dare you? That's disgusting.
I mean, I'm amazed it's taken this long for someone to go over that balcony.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it's
a really
such a
unsafe
soap
balcony.
thing to do. But it finally happened.
Trainers flew in the air. There was cameras spinning in mid-shot.
Mm-hmm.
It was
stupid. If they cut out that shot of like seeing through Leo's eyes spinning round, it would have been fine. That shot wasn't needed.
I agree. If they showed him falling backwards
and then landing,
no, then they could have shown a wide shot of Kush and Whitney kind of looking to watch it happen, and then you could hit a thump, and then just show a shot of
him on the floor
with his legs bent out of shape. Yeah. Again, like one of those outline pictures that you see the police in a comedy film. Then it would have been fine. But it's the fact, as you said, they put that spinning camera shot, and it just looks weird.
Stop doing these weird things, EastEnders. I mean, you don't need to do them.
No, they're unnecessary.
Less is more, like Jags' fat joke.
Well said. We should call the title of this episode "Less is More."
And also, I have an issue of this storyline of Leo, like, is going to last 18 months thing. The reason it's lasting 18 months is because characters keep doing stupid things, like Whitney.
Yes.
It's like she's written this diary, and
which is a sensible thing to do.
Yeah, but all week Jack's like, oh yeah, take it to the police. Oh yeah, I'll do that. Oh yeah, I'll do that. And then she doesn't take it to police. She goes to visit Leo to try and convince him to not press charges on Kush. She goes, oh, I'll buy you a coffee and a muffin. And she places her bag next to him with it open.
And which is a ridiculous thing.
Everyone knows what's going to happen. It's not like, it's like when Whitney came back from her honeymoon and she said, oh, I met a boyfriend, and it was Leo, and it was like a big duff. And it's like, we all know that's going to happen. It's like the most obvious duff in the world. But
again, there was an obvious duff, as you say, because you saw Leo reading the diary, so you knew that was
and it's like, that's not a surprise.
But especially since like very early on in the episode, you saw Whitney writing in the diary, and you saw Leo's eyes directly dart to her, writing in something. So
why did she not bring it like the day before? Jack said, "Oh, just pop it down there. They just want to see it and take a photocopy of it." Why did she not go? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I suppose that you could argue the trauma of the accident and
hardly
very upsetting for her. Also, before she went to the hospital, didn't she go to the police station first, ask to speak to someone? They were like, "Oh, sorry, they're not here at the moment. Can I help you with something?" And she was like, "No, it's fine. I've changed my mind. I'm on plan B. I'm going to manipulate Leo and make him think that I love him." Which is also a stupid thing to do.
The whole thing's stupid because they're just doing it as like a way to extend the storyline by having characters act stupid, like Whitney, for example.
Because Whitney's she's not silly. She's not unintelligent.
No.
She's been through trauma, not similar to this, but she's been through a lot of difficult patches in her life. So she knows that she needs to be sensible, and she has been sensible, be it around like Woody or Tony, where this all began. She does have a sensible head on her shoulders, and it seems weird that she just seems to be doing really strange, out of character things for Whitney. Doesn't make any sense.
It is the issue of this era.
Yeah, everyone's doing things that's not of their character.
And just so it's because of the story, that's what they do. And it's like, no, the character wouldn't do that. It's like the Martin thing from last year. It's like, that is like the big issue. Like, there's so many improvements this year, but like that's the big issue that's happened.
They seem to change the character for the purposes of the story, which is why going right from the beginning of the show when we were saying like, oh, Suki is actually quite a nice welcome addition to the show. It's because they've introduced this character we don't know a lot about, but we've been given a bit of background about. So they've built up this kind of what we imagine them to be, and she's been introduced, and she's exactly what we expected her to become and be. And this is this manipulative mother matriarch type character, which is fine because that's,
and the bar was
character.
set so low with that family. She's come in and she's automatically good.
Yeah, I suppose. But with Whitney, I just think this dumb moment just seems really strange. And every time she mentioned it to Sonia, and Sonia was like, "No, really, that was a stupid thing you did there, Whitney." And then when she said, "Oh, my diary's in the bag," and she's frantically looking and she can't find it, and she knows she hasn't just dropped it outside the hospital or left it in a cab.
It's not even like clever or surprising for us.
No,
because like the second she was writing in the diary, you knew that he was going to take it.
Yeah. When he saw her, you saw him see her doing it. So it was just, maybe we were meant to know that he was going to take it out, but it wasn't duff worthy.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh my god, he has the diary.
What a surprise.
Yeah, exactly. It should be more in the story as it goes along, or just see him kind of looking in her bag, and I don't know, it's just...
Yeah, this whole story hasn't had any surprises really. really. Like, it's all been predictable.
Yeah.
And like with a story like this, shouldn't be. Like, it should be able to just take a random wild turn, but not make sense for the characters in it.
I mean, Whitney's also giving Leo ammo for his kind of conspiracy troubled paranoid mind by actually trying to put on this act that she likes him.
And kissing him and
actually making Leo's accusations have some strength there, have some actual worthy justification.
That's to extend the plot though, isn't it? So the police can't get him, he can't have a restraining order.
Yeah, but then that's a stupid
the
move.
Plot can go on
Whitney.
for 9 months. I know,
yeah,
it's
but
stupid.
why is she doing that?
Plot.
Why? No, but that's silly.
I know.
It shouldn't be plot. It shouldn't be. The reason Whitney's now become a bit dumb is because plot.
It's Dark like, Martin
silly.
syndrome.
Well then, what are we going to call Whitney? Silly Whitney?
Witless Whitney.
Witless Whitney?
Whitney. Whitney.
Well, you can't just call Whitney. Witless Whitney.
Witless.
Whitney. Witless.
Witlessy.
Witless. Just Witless Whitney.
So yeah, very upsetting. Because there was, when they were in that hotel a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but she was so strong.
Yeah, they were. I was like, yeah, this storyline's going.
Yeah. And she stood up to him, and she said, "Go and record this." And he was like, "Oh, great!" And again, Leo was this brilliant kind of the actor played this brilliant childlike, a bit confused by like his whole life, what he's been told by his mum, what he believes his dad is, and I think when he was, you could see him kind of on the edge of his seat and the manipulative, but almost not clever enough to kind of pull it off entirely. And now he's all of a sudden this mastermind where he can, fool the police and can fool other people around the market to believe his story, even though
everyone around the market would see him as a because they've seen him like be weird in the market.
Yeah, but
the whole thing's just weird that he can still be there.
Well, he can dominate this market space and like have these like this shouting match with Kat.
That was a good shout match.
It was a great shouting match, especially when she threw him, across the his stall. But it just seems odd that like people allowed Leo to have that moment. Like if it was any other time, like all the market sellers would be together and was like, no, you don't talk to one of our own like this. And this time they all everyone was just kind of stood there kind of like banding along and just, I don't know,
silly.
Just
plot for plot's sake, and that's what I don't enjoy.
I know you don't. I know.
There you go. But yeah, Kush, don't know if he's going to take back his thing with Kush. Like he said to Whitney he would, and he sent her flowers. So
he's dropped the charges. Yeah, he said he was going to, because that was Whitney's plan, wasn't it? That's why she was manipulating him.
And also alopecia, possibly, like she's losing hair.
Oh yeah, she's losing her hair from worry.
So I'm wondering if maybe they're going to do like an alopecia storyline. That'd be something new for soap.
She'd have to wear a bald cap like Jean. They'll all be baldy. It's funny, you were only saying a couple of days ago when we were watching classic EastEnders that all the men have receding hairlines, and you don't see that anymore. Such interesting conversations we have at our home. We talk about receding hairlines in men. No pattern baldness.
No, of course. None of that going on in Walford anymore.
Nope.
Right, so we're going to go on to our last storyline, which is Keegan and Mrs. Murray.
Yeah.
Yes, that was kind of the shortest storyline. So funny. Outtake. Shortest storyline kind of this week, but again, important, interesting one of Keegan, and also Ted's got another storyline. We didn't think we'd be having more Ted chats.
It's remarkable how many storylines Ted's yeah. It's remarkable how many TED Talks we're having now since Ted's gone. It's just
still going.
Insane, yeah.
But because obviously they're in his council house illegally, so the council finally turned up.
Yeah, to do something about the squatters. The same home, incidentally, as Sam and Ricky.
We're squatting in. Yeah, same story.
Same
story,
wedding,
everything.
They're literally carbon copying the story, apart from now Mr. Murray is in it, and he's not just watching from the tower block.
No, Mr. Murray is
wishing he was there.
Mr. Murray is basically Mo Butcher,
I guess,
getting storylines off the square.
Yes, they're still talking about her, but she's not there.
No. So she then comes up with the idea of saying she is Mrs. Murray, the new Mrs. Murray, and Patrick is actually Ted.
Yes, and Patrick, and they've just married, which is a tricky thing to say actually, because he could easily find the marriage certificate if he wanted to. So
the council guy would have an ID and a photo of Ted, probably, most likely.
Well, no, they asked for an ID, and Ted said
on his system to say this is Ted, and they'd have a photo, wouldn't they?
I don't know. Do they have photo IDs for the council? I think that's a big brother bit too far. I don't think they've got that. I don't think they've done that quite yet. Because surely we'd all have a photograph then, because we all pay council, or we all should pay council tax. Anyone out there who's not naughty?
He should have asked Patrick for a birth certificate, shouldn't he? Could he just say he doesn't have that?
But there's no ID on a birth. There's no photograph on a birth certificate. Plus, if there was a photograph, it would be of you with a child. Although they could easily then tell Patrick from Ted because colour of their skin.
Yeah, and where they were born and their age.
Trinidad. Ted Murray, Trinidad.
That would liven Ted up a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Bless him. So that basically that story, it was fine. It was funny. It was what it was. But it was basically leading up to
whimsical nonsense.
Yes, it was leading up to Patrick being able to speak to Keegan. Which was really good, and it was really nice that they used Patrick finally after 19 years on the show. But it was nice that he gets a bit of something to do, and their talk with each other about being stopped and because of the colour of their skin. It was really interesting because he said like, "Oh, it's been 60 years, but really, it doesn't sound like much has changed."
No, nothing. Yeah, exactly. He says, but the only way you can rise above it is by just showing everyone that you are better than what people expect you to be, and that you know, if you work hard, believe in yourself, invest in yourself, you can just overcome anything. But really, Keegan is beginning to see that he's always going to be.
Up with it, isn't he?
He's getting fed up with it. He's always going to be on the wrong foot. Like, because of the colour of his skin, he's constantly going to be last
profiled
with everything and profiled. So, you know, he's delivering his sandwiches. 3, 5, 6, a dozen white people could drive past on a moped delivering food. Not an eye is battered, but for some bizarre reason, as soon as Keegan is delivering food, they instantly they need to search him under the act of blah 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 because he might have a dangerous weapon on him. And it's profiling, and it's disgusting and
it's like getting me really annoyed. Just watching it, let alone being Keegan.
And it's the fact that Keegan...
it's affecting his business.
Yeah. But it's the fact that Keegan has, like, after Shaquille had died from knife crime and he was angry and he had to go to counselling for it and he had to be calmed down, and Keegan did become a new man. He became a much more calmer, considerate, thoughtful guy. And then this is breaking him again, and it's not helped either that Vinny is kind of pushing that, prodding the bee's nest, and, you know, trying to convince him, is like, you know, the only way you're going to stop this is by fighting back. And now Keegan has broke, and it's so unfair that
they
this
arrested
has happened.
him.
Yeah, which is also unfair because he just said, right, I want to film this because I don't believe what you're doing is right. You know, you're and they had no right really to say to him, right, I'm arresting you now for.
I know that woman was right on it, wasn't she?
She smacked him, and then he wasn't even. That's the other thing. He wasn't even resisting arrest. He didn't fight against her, and so she showed forcible, a force which she didn't. A forcible force. She showed too much force.
Yeah, aggressive,
and it was aggressive, and it didn't. And so if I was a witness, if I was there in Walford right there, I would have stepped up, I think, and said something. And that's another thing. It's disgraceful that Keegan he's
people
clearly
walking by.
People are just walking by, even walking in between him and the policeman, and they just don't seem to care. And it's like, no, stop. We need to talk about this because otherwise it's just going to keep going on and on and on and on, and this circle will never break, and it's disgraceful. Sorry, I went on my soapbox there.
I agree. It's just there's no end to this story though, so this is just going to be like on the show. How are they going to show it as like a beginning, middle, end as a story?
Well,
there is no end, is there?
I worry that he's going to get himself into trouble somewhere, and he's going to one day. You know, he is going to have a weapon or something, and he's going to use it because he's going to be pushed so far that he is going to then attack.
That'd be such a bad message.
I hope they don't do that, and I hope that maybe Vinny doesn't win the fight, and that he does listen, because
Iqra's the calm angel.
She is. She really
angel
is.
Of Walford.
She just needs to get her wings, and she'll be there.
Because she was like saying, "Oh, stay calm, focus on your business, focus on doing better for yourself." And Vinny was the one being like, "No, you need more fire in you. You need to stand up to them." So, you know, he tried the calm approach, and it wasn't working for him. But neither did the fire approach. So
no, so it's
like
finding
lose.
It's finding the middle ground. I mean, 2-3 weeks ago when he was arrested, and that when he was with Vinny, and the way Keegan reacted to that for me was perfect. He knew exactly what to say. He knew exactly what to ask for, and what they need to. You know, he wanted to see ID. He asked for a written statement to show why they were searching him, what they found when they searched him, everything. Well, that was absolutely right.
It's easy to stay calm, though, but the more it happens, the more he's like,
God,
no, I can't bother with this.
Of course, and we'd all feel the same way. It's just, and he's understandable, because obviously earlier in the week as well, he lost the sandwich contract because he was accused of stealing a laptop.
Oh, yeah.
The other sandwich guy, who was white, wasn't accused of it, who was just as new as him, or had been going into the office space as much as him, but because it was Keegan, and he instantly said, everyone kind of stepped him down from the edge and said to him, well, no, I think you're overreacting a little bit here. But now Keegan's again being stopped by the police for absolutely seemingly nothing. It's understandable that he's saying, is it nothing now? Is it because of the colour of my skin? Is it because I'm black? Or is it just a coincidence that I seem to be having all this trouble coming on me without me asking for it? I feel for Keegan. And I think of all the stories, this is the most real. And this is the most interesting, and they need to make sure they get it right. Don't make it over the top and soapy, and actually reel it in a little bit and kind of take it down its natural course properly.
And it's also an interesting angle with Tiff, because obviously she has no experience with this, and she's finding it really hard to like even know what to say, or how to react to it, or she's just like, don't worry about it. But that's easy for her to say because this has never happened to her. So that's a really interesting angle for her.
I'm surprised they didn't make a kind of, I suppose it's not really a jokey matter, but they could have made it a little lighthearted if Tiff would say something like, of course I know about being singled out. Look at my hair. I'm ginger, you know, and she could have related it that way. But it was interesting actually, you're saying about Tiff and Keegan's relationship, that was something else Patrick brought up, which is the fact that they're in a mixed race relationship too. And that to a lot of people, that's still seen as despicable and unnatural. And it's like, what? Why?
Patrick's the oracle. Nothing's changed in 60 years.
No.
We've gone back, if anything.
Well, the thing is, we were progressing, but are we
That's
now...
how things work. You go forward, then you go back again. Then you go a little bit forward again, then you go all the way back again. That's how life works.
What's that music video with Paula Abdul and the cat?
I don't know. Paula Abdul.
It's the song, isn't it? It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or 3 steps back. That's what it is.
That's what life is. It's like fashion.
I love that music video.
But no, it's like one of the top storylines because it's like, it is real and it's actually relatable. Unlike, I don't know, Ben Mitchell trafficking people or shooting Keanu and filming it. That's just ridiculous. But like, this is actually a real issue. I
mean, the most over the top story this week, and it's probably the one we have kind of grazed over in the most
lackadaisical
way. I love that. It was the Whitney story, and that's because that's the most sensationalist story of everything this week. Like Linda's alcoholism storyline, quite real, gritty, interesting. Okay, Sharon and Denny, no, but like just
Sharon's.
But then she's
different.
She's a league of their own. If you put
she's an OG.
I love the fact that they put the scene with like Kathy, Sharon, and Ian.
Oh yeah.
And their story is all together.
All the OGs. They're on just a different level.
I was meant to mention actually about that story. Did you find it funny that Ian kind of laughed off the fact that Dennis said that Sharon and Ian had kissed, and Ian was like, "Oh, imagine Dennis thinking that. Why would he think that? It's not such a strange thing to think, though, is it?" And Sharon was like, "Yes, Ian, it is."
She keeps saying, "My oldest friend."
Yeah.
Who's Michelle? My oldest friend.
Ian is proper friend zoned, isn't he, by Sharon? But yeah, no, I love this Keegan storyline, and I'm genuinely looking forward to it. And I hope that they don't sensationalise it.
It's been handled really well so far, so hopefully consistency is key here.
Is Keegan
or Kierit
or Vinny?
Not Jags.
Not Jags. No.
There you go. That was the roundup finished. Yeah. So we're now going to go on to our Not Want to Gossip. With comments. We got a question this week.
Question from our Twitter and our Facebook. We got our poll of the week, and we've
got birthdays to celebrate,
and all your comments as well that you've wrote into us.
You know me, I ain't want to gossip.
That's right, it's that time of the show where we read out your tweets, your Facebook messages to us, your posts to us on Instagram.
But everyone loves this.
I know, it's the bit...
Talking about them.
It's the bit where we gush about you and how much we love you and how much we love your interaction, and we read out what you've said to us. But before we do any of that, we normally look at what happened a few years ago. We also look at like birthdays and deaths. But this week, Ben's just got a handful of birthdays.
I didn't know what day it was this week.
You forgot it was Friday.
This week's gone really quickly.
It's been a whole funny old week, hasn't it?
So I didn't know what day it was, and then all of a sudden I was recording the podcast and I hadn't done it.
Like a deer in headlights. You were like,
to be fair,
my birthday.
I have watched 7 episodes of EastEnders today.
7 additional episodes.
6 additional plus the one that we watched
tonight.
It's quite a lot.
Well, then I've watched quite a few too this week.
It's not competition. I'm talking about myself once.
Wow.
Always about you, isn't it?
And it should be.
I'm going to do birthdays then.
Okay.
So, 30th of January 1950.
Jim Branning.
No, 1950.
I don't know, I'm just throwing up. Den Watts.
No, a Watts was born.
Sharon Watts.
No. Sharon wasn't born in 1950, was she? Angie Watts.
Angie Watts.
Died 2002.
What, on the same day?
No. I'm just saying in general, she died in 2002. 52 years old. She made it.
Drink-related Alzheimer's.
But yeah, Sharon didn't mention it, did she? She does mention Angie next week, actually. So maybe they're skipping a few days.
To Linda. They do like to play...
Mix it up.
Yeah, they like to play around with birthdays just to fit in the story now.
This character's on holiday at the moment, so this is why it wasn't on screen. 27th of January, 1969, Denise.
I was going to guess. I'm playing guesses.
Oh, are you? So yeah. Jack must have taken her out for her birthday.
Taken her out and she's never been seen since.
Although it's weird because they went on holiday together, but Jack's come back, but she's gone to Scotland to see Kim. It's really weird.
Well, it's her sister. Jack probably doesn't want the ear bleed.
Right, okay. 29th of January, 1972. It's a male.
72?
Yeah, and he's dead.
Oh. Okay. Dennis Rickman.
No. You're never going to get it.
72.
Do you know who killed him?
Yeah, who killed him?
Janine.
Oh, Barry.
No.
Barry Evans.
No.
Michael Moon.
Yes. Michael Moon was born. Right, this one, 28th of January, 1985. She was a baby in the first 10 episodes. She was within the first 10 episodes of the show.
Baby in the first 10?
She appeared with her mum.
Baby?
Yeah, baby appeared in the first, episode 10, 11.
And she's in it still now?
No.
Oh.
Well, she was in it last year for one episode.
Can't be Michelle.
She's now a policewoman. Detective.
Oh, Baby Abby.
Baby Annie.
Baby Annie. Annie.
Yes, Baby Annie.
Baby Annie.
28th of January 1985.
Should have got
That's
that.
Mary the Punk's daughter, for anyone listening who don't know.
Done an interview. Find it on our YouTube channel.
Not with Baby Annie.
No,
with Punk, the Mary.
Yeah.
Linda Davison.
Yes.
She's lovely.
She is.
Twins next, 27th of January 1991.
Better known.
1991.
Oh.
I was going to say, no, it's not Peter and Lucy.
Oh, Peter and Lucy.
No. They're really rubbish. They're like the Taylors.
Oh,
but not
Chatham and
very
Riley.
Good. No. They're like the Taylors, but not very good. The dad looks like he's from Shameless.
Oh, Miller.
Yeah.
Dawn and Mickey Miller.
No.
Oh.
The younger ones. The one with freckles.
Oh, yeah. That's Mickey, the guy who plays Mickey Miller. What's his name?
Yeah, him.
That's his sister in real life.
Is it? What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Demi Miller and Darren Miller.
Demi and Darren.
Their birthday.
Yeah. Darren had a kid with Heather.
That's correct.
George was the kid. Was that
it? That's it. No one died.
No?
No.
Well, you didn't...
It's all births.
Well, that's a happy time of year then.
Yeah, January's all right.
End of January. And
Once you get past the middle of January, no one dies for a bit.
Yeah, but then now we're getting to the anniversary of EastEnders. There's going to be deaths right there, left and centre. I'm looking forward to you digging up some of them. So before we get to your comments for the week, we do Who Won the Week. It's a poll we run on our Facebook group, Twitter and our Instagram page. And we ask you 4 stories, and we ask you from 4 stories we offer, which one won the week. Before we give out the results, we like to see what Ben's reaction is. So first of all, Leo's Head Over Heels.
No, cancel it.
Suki and C.
Yep, third, that'll come, because she's new.
Okay. Linda's Social Anxiety.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Second. Or first.
Okay. Or Mrs. Tiffany Murray.
Oh, no. That'll probably come last.
Okay.
Although Leo normally comes last.
Yeah, Leo and Whitney stories, they had that one peak week.
Once.
Yeah.
And Leo and Whitney last, and Linda will come first.
Okay. Well, in last place was Mrs. Tiffany Murray with 12% of the vote.
Ooh.
Leo's Head Over Heels was third with 21%. Second was Suki and C, or Suki and C, I should say, is 32% of the vote.
Ooh.
And the winner, but only narrowly, was Linda with 35% of the vote.
Ooh.
Thank you for everyone.
Very evenly split.
Thank you very much. Thank you for everyone who voted. Some comments, as always, you sent to us at... Oh, and I'd like to say right now, I apologise if I say your name wrong at any point. Just let us know if I say it wrong and I'll get it right next time if you write in. At Alicia12456...
That's not right.
Said, I will actually sue Kate Oates if Linda is one that dies. And they put fricking Mickey back together.
Oh, Mickney. God, no. Could you imagine?
I don't want it to happen, but...
Then Leo would kill Mick, and then they'll both be dead.
They can bring back Woody as well.
Kill him too.
Yeah,
and Lee.
They could kill off Woody. Woody could come back, couldn't he? And Leo could kill him off, thinking that he's a threat to Whitney. There you go. I've written it for you. Do that. Angeli Kerr on Facebook says, Kelly was amazing. I don't want her to die, but it will be a good storyline for Mick to be a single dad to Ollie. And has Suki forgotten that Ash is a doctor? You can't go from 4 months to 14 months. I can see the evilness pouring out of her.
Same.
Seeping.
Seeping Suki.
Emma Rowe said about Suki, I know a narcissist when I see one.
Same.
At Pat
in the mirror.
Yeah, I know, every morning when you look at yourself. At Pat Hart 08525718 says, Leo's fall was like that time I submitted a video to You've Been Framed of me falling down the stairs. When in reality I just dropped the camera. I'm still gutted to this day that I didn't win £250.
Should have. Could have been on primetime BBC.
ITV was You've Been Framed.
No, it was good enough to be on BBC, on EastEnders.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine if someone actually submitted that to You've Been Framed and someone at ITV who doesn't watch EastEnders thought that was a genuine... BBC would help with the budget, wouldn't it? 250 quid. Melanie Williams says, well, was I the only one screaming at Whitney? What made her think that was a good idea? And why would you leave your bag with someone you don't trust? I do despair of Whitney sometimes.
That was so stupid.
It was dumb.
Why did she go buy him a muffin?
I know.
Coffee. It's like,
silly.
Idiotic.
Cindy Calloway said the interaction between Tiff, Patrick and Keegan was hilarious. That was obviously the beginning of the week when they had
one of the rare good funny storylines.
I must say, actually, that's something I was going to point out. The EastEnders has never been known for doing good comedy storylines.
Very hit and miss.
But they've got better.
Yeah. Jags is still not good comedy.
But they're relying on too much of the same. Thank you to everyone who wrote into us on our Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. I shall give you the details at the end. Yeah, they're all just Ben. I can make them all up. I will give you the details at the end of the podcast. But this week we sent out a question also on our Twitter and Facebook.
Ooh.
We asked, if EastEnders were to end, what would you like to see in the final episodes? Ben, what would you like to see in the final episode of EastEnders?
I think you'll find that I said this last week with my answer.
Oh, okay.
I said Sharon and Ian looking over the square, but I can't remember why. But that would be the end. It would have to end with a Julius theme. Since they're so rare nowadays.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, if it was for me, I would want to end that they kind of... Not like they did at the end of every episode or every series of Big Brother, where they showed shots of the house and you heard like quotes or lines, famous lines from that series of Big Brother. Like, am I minging? And stuff like that. A bit like Desperate Housewives when they drive off and you see them all waving goodbye to them.
Everyone that's died on the square.
Yeah.
Every single one.
They could do that easily. They could just get like shots. They could do it like Princess Leia in Star Wars and then just have shots of them, kind of just like doing a scene and you basically see it with a kind of ghostly image of like the character in each situation.
Yeah, I would like maybe, again, a bit like Desperate Housewives, but like the original characters move out or something and like a new family moves in. Like Walford keeps going, but it's the end of the series. But it's like a new load of families or something. Somehow. I don't know why everyone would move out at the same time. But like something like that. So you know that it's still Walford. But because all the characters you've been following have gone, that's just the end.
But then that would make me wish that we were now watching like a new generation of EastEnders.
No.
Because I hate the end of Desperate Housewives when you see the woman with the box. To this day, I want to know what's in that box.
That's the point.
What's the secret? Anyway, lots of comments, loads of different people. I'm so sorry if I don't read yours out. I'm going to read out as many as I can. So we ready?
Then. Go quick.
Carwyn Hughes on Facebook said, I want just an old-fashioned episode at the Vic with everyone there sharing their favourite moments and memories. Wouldn't be nothing spectacular, but a good and emotional episode. The episode would finish with a cliffhanger, but obviously no one will ever know what will happen next.
The ultimate duff.
The ultimate duff.
That's the thing. Do you end with a duff or a Julius theme? Duffs are so iconic.
You could end with a Julius theme, then silence when the credits roll, and then
an extra scene.
Then they could do an extra little scene and then have the duff, and that'd be the cliffhanger. You could
then comes back.
Den's back again. How's that happen? Oh, Angie was never dead. It was all a lie.
No.
It was all a lie. The cake is a lie. Ron Monterio said, at the end of the episode, the last of the regular characters get into a black cab. I don't know if you're going to fit everyone in one black cab. It'd be like a clown car.
Yeah, Cat will be driving.
Okay, yeah, they'll all fit on top. We follow the cab until it passes the Vic, at which point we enter through the front door. None of the people in the Vic are people we recognise. The camera moves from table to table and we hear snippets of conversations revealing family feuds and secrets, affairs, new love stories, and it reminds us of that time in the square goes on even when we're not watching. This is what you said.
What I said. Wow, who's he?
Ron Monterio.
It's the same.
The camera exits out of the Vic and pulls back up into the sky until we see that familiar shop of the Thames. I love that one. I think that's really good.
And also, as it's going around the square, you see the train go by.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the CGI train. That has to be there.
Yeah, that's true. Well, there's a few iconic things they need to do. They could have they just do so much.
I like the end of the live episode where they show loads of shots and there's music playing and fireworks. That's like,
I hated that.
That I can imagine that being the last episode because it's so good.
No, it's not good. I hated it. It pulled me right out of the story.
I don't care. It shows you Arthur's bench. It shows you Julia and Tony's name graffitied. It shows you loads of iconic things. It's so good.
No, I disagree. I'm sorry. Cuz Doe, though, says that all the characters were actually dead and Walford was limbo, referencing the TV series Lost.
That's not the episode. Lost wasn't limbo. It was...
Oh, God, no.
Okay, never mind.
No,
Can't think of the word anyway.
Well, that's what it was. Limbo, wasn't it? They were all waiting God's waiting room before they all went to heaven.
Not really.
Okay. I'm going to read some comments off Twitter. On Twitter, at RDWrites97 said, should be Dot's last one. She has a hallucination when she's back in the 80s, 90s and 2000s, brings back all the iconic living actors that were around her, Pat, Mary, Lofty, Michelle, Roxy, Ronnie and Angie, etc.
Rod, of
course, Rod. And a nostalgic trip would... and she would have a nostalgic trip. And Deezer, yes. Lots of people said that they didn't want EastEnders to end. Like it was.
No one does, but just saying if it does.
Just a thing, isn't it? Yes. And also, I regret posting a picture of there being an explosion because lots of people said explosion on the square, and I think that may have influenced their ideas.
Seen that?
Yeah, but there's been a few.
Done.
The Vic's had a few explosions, hasn't it? Our old muckers, our old pals, Conversation Street podcast. As I always say, if you like Coronation Street, give them a listen.
Mm-hmm.
Conversation Street podcast said there would be a note at the end credits from Kate Oates saying, sorry everyone, but I really wanted to go back to Corrie. Soon followed by an announcement that she's been rehired by ITV.
Well, Kate Oates wasn't even at NTAs, so I think she's already left.
Oh no, she's busy. She's busy doing Doctors and Casualty and...
Holby.
All those, isn't she? Skylar Baker Jordan on Twitter says, the final comeuppance for Phil, Grant and Janine. Sharon and Ian both getting happy endings, Ian with Jane. Denny changing his name to Watts so that Den Watts lives again. Simon finally returns. A Ricky and Bianca reunion. Denise elected to Parliament. And Kim becomes a famous YouTuber. Lots going on there.
Yeah, gosh.
But I think the main gist of that is that basically everyone's story gets finished. Everyone's story wraps up. Again,
that's not life.
A bit like Desperate Housewives.
Life goes on.
Yeah, but like every all the main characters they all had their own ending, didn't they? So Bree became a member of government, and I forget the other characters. Oh yeah, it's not a spoiler now, is it?
That is a spoiler.
Yeah,
but the biggest spoiler.
It came out 10 years ago. It's fine.
20 years ago.
Yeah, long time ago. At Dog Tanya,
they all hate Terry Hatcher.
That's never been proven. At Dog Tanya, it's not like Sex and the City, is it? Where they all hate.
Well, actually, it's come out the other way now. Terry Hatcher was the nice one, and the woman who plays Lynette, Felicity, was meant to be the troublemaker. So it's all come out in the wash.
Yeah, well, it's not been helped by her schooling dilemma, let's just say. At Gina Raquel says Ballum gets married, Sharon runs the Vic, and Phil ends up being alone. A lot of people wanted Ballum married.
What's the last ever episode?
The last ever episode, yeah.
What? No.
And I'm going to end it. And as I say, there was so many comments, so thank you so much, honestly. Do keep an eye out on our Facebook and Twitter, because we're going to ask a question every week. So
that's commitment.
Oh, yeah.
Every now and then.
But yeah, well, anyway.
I've got one for next week already. So.
Oh, good. So there will be one next week. And final comment then from Shannon D. Corsia. And she said, Reg wakes up and it was all a dream.
The actor died recently, didn't he? Actually, I think he might still be alive, the actor.
No, just use a different actor. You don't really see what Reg's face looks like.
No,
just have Reg wake up in the same set from the 1980s.
The whole thing was a dream, like that other soap when she was on a cash.
Yeah, Dallas.
No, the one that they revamped and then they cancelled it.
Oh, but Dallas did it first because the whole season was written off.
That's rubbish.
You're thinking of Crossroads.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Yeah, and then the cast found out that they were supermarket workers and they all
dreamed of a better life.
Dreamed of a better life in a hotel.
There you go.
We're alienating.
You haven't said how you want your episode, have you?
I did. I said I wanted a bit like this with Housewives, and I wanted them to kind of like project images. It would look like a projection of people like doing the scenes. It would be the same scenes, but they would be like kind of ghostly, a bit like Big Brother at the end of each
series. Use old footage, can't you? Just clip it in.
That's right, and they can do it so they're see through, and you can even
like when
remake.
Pat worked during Frank's funeral. She kept looking out, and the same scene played over the current scene, didn't it?
And they wouldn't have to reuse sets. They wouldn't have to remake the sets so they were back in the day. They could have the original scenes in the new sets. So it'd be interesting to see like an Arthur and Pauline scene in what is now Ian's house in around the table.
Yeah.
Be good.
Hopefully we won't see it for a long time though.
Fingers crossed to us. We won't be doing anything on a Friday night.
No.
Don't forget to get in touch with us on Twitter at Walford Weekly. You can find us on Facebook by searching Walford Weekly EastEnders Community. You can find us on Instagram by looking at Walford Weekly Podcast. You can email us at contact@walfordweekly.com, and also look for our YouTube channel. As I said, we have new videos on a Tuesday, a Thursday and a Sunday.
Mainly a Thursday.
Thursday is our original video. Tuesday is our spoiler cast video. And Sunday is our podcast. But you can also listen to this podcast on
on a podcast app.
Any podcast app.
Podcast.
Because that's what it is, exactly. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to rate us as well. That'd be great.
Listening on YouTube, put a thumbs up.
Why not? And subscribe, and then follow us by ringing the bell. And if you want this information again, just visit our website, which
No,
is walfordweekly.com. Thank you for joining us, as you do every week. We love having your company. I hope you enjoy it, and have a great week.
Yeah, we'll be here next week to slag off the show, just like Kathy.
Slag.